know what I'm saying? So, all my teachers knew who I was before I got there, you know what I'm saying? Because we just had that reputation of being a, music family, you know what I'm saying? So the love that I have for Gary is deep, you know what I'm saying? It's deep because they took care of us. They took care of our family. Despite it being like the murder capital of the world and all the foul shit that might have happened we never felt that like that. I had a great childhood, you know what I'm saying, growing up in Gary. And, a lot of my friends are still in the industry, like, my homegirl, Casey Garland, she dances for, like, Megan Thee Stallion and Rihanna. My homegirl, Sankara, she's, like, a designer, you know what I'm saying?
So, some pretty cool people have come out there, you know?
It's a hotbed for talent, you know what I'm saying? And just, once you get from Gary, it's kind of like, I have never met anybody from Gary who don't love Gary, you know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. So after that, I went to Indiana University, IUB. That's where I kind of like kept developing my music skills because I went for music education. Marietta Simpson, she was like my voice teacher. She taught me a lot as far as like what to do with my instrument. Also, shout out to Marion Boynes too. She also taught me a lot when I was in high school. So I was blessed to have some talented black women like really pour into me, you know what I'm saying, and really like get me where I needed to be as a vocalist. And then, shout out to Coop, one of my professors at IU. T-Den is like another big brother of mine. Shout out to the frat, Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated. You know it.
So you've had a lot of people who really have been a part of your journey, who've whether inspired you or encouraged you in this journey.
Sure.
So fast forwarding to now, you've had some pretty dope placements. So give us a rundown of a few of the people. I know them, but for people who don't know yet.
Sure.
Who are some of the people that you've worked with?
So I worked with K. Michelle.
What songs?
I did a lot of records with K. Michelle. So, but the ones that matter a lot to me, Scooch was like my first #1 record at Urban AC. So, shout out to my girl Kay. The Rain for Kay, Just Like Jay. I saw that on the jukebox, so that was fun. Like to see that in Waffle House and be like, oh,
that's my song.
That's my joint. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I worked with K. Michelle. I've worked with obviously Usher. You know what I'm saying? I'm currently working on his album right now.
We'll get into that.
Good, dope, cool. Sebastian Michael, I worked on his project before. It's definitely like, I love working with him because he gives me a space to be in like my Prince, D'Angelo type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? So, Scene 1, that's one of my favorite ones I did with him. I did that in New York with him. Man, who else? 112, that was like my real introduction into the music industry. Their last album, hopefully not their last album, but one of the last albums that they did as a group, Q Mike Slim Deron. A big single off of there was Dangerous Games. That got up to like #3 on the charts. Shout out to Black Elvis, my homie Dimitri. So, definitely Shantae Moore. Their whole project with her, with Lil Ronnie.
So was 112 your first placement, or what? Who was your first placement?
My first placement. This is.
And
funny.
how did you get to that
point?
point?
Oh man, this is funny. I'm gonna tell you, this is a funny story. So after I did American Idol, and I got eliminated, and I was like boo-hooing, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just be a writer. I had moved down to Atlanta in like 2011, maybe like. I was working with this young artist. Her name was Tamel. I worked on like 18 records for her, like mixtape or whatever. But that was like a Dat Piff type of thing. So I would say my first official placement was with Jay Holiday. And actually, ironically, it was a song that I had wrote for Tamel. And then they ended up flipping it for Jay Holiday. And the studio that we write at right now, Studios, my homie Lil Ronnie. He did the production for that record, and that was our first time working together. And I didn't even meet him yet. So they just heard the record after we fuck. Sorry, Mom.
Business,
sorry, Dad. Sorry. This ain't for the saints, you know what I'm saying? Or it's for the married saints, rather. But after we fucked, it's like my first official, like, this is on an album. I can open it, the CD, and like see my credits and stuff like that. So after we fucked, Jay Holiday. That was like the first song I got like officially placed.
Yeah. And so all of the opportunities that have come since then, how did those come about? What were some of the most meaningful, I'd say, songs that became, album placements for you?
Man, so it's funny you should ask that. I took and I still do to this day, take every session serious. Like, that's just like quality and quantity, which is hard to have both, but quality and quantity, like, so I can't necessarily tell you like what, because they all my babies as far as the records, so they all special to me. But and of course there's records that do better than others, and et cetera, singles versus album cuts or whatever. But for me, I kind of like always focused on the sessions that led. For every placement that I got, I can tell you the session that got me there and where that session took me. You know what I'm saying? All the way from my homie Mad Spike Miles when he was signed to MMG, to Usher, to the people that I'm working with right now, with Tricky. You know what I'm saying? Like Tricky Stewart and JD. I can pinpoint every session, every song to like, okay, it was an engineer that brought me up to so and so. It was a other writer that was like, yo, that nigga Felly hard. You know what I'm saying? Or another producer, which is how I made a living for like 5 years, is just rocking with the right producers. So yeah. It's important to like, track that. I should do like a genealogy or something.
You should. That would be pretty dope. Just kind of like from the beginning to every song, every placement, everybody you've worked with.
Well, I still got my memory for sure. Yeah.
Right. No, definitely.
Yeah.
So speaking of Usher, let me tell you something. I've interviewed a lot of people, and I feel like Usher is brought up in every single interview. But this one is specific because we got good.
We do.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
So tell me the process of making that. How did that come to be? How did you end up getting that single out?
Man, I'm gonna tell you the honest truth with like, it was just a Tuesday.
Wow. It went up on a Tuesday.
It went up on a Tuesday. I wish I did that song too. Yeah. But no, and I don't mean, what I mean by that is like, for this album that is coming out on February 11th, we got a deadline. I've been working on this album for 3 years straight. Wow. You know what I'm saying? I want to say at least 4 to 5 days a week between October 2020 and even I'll probably do a record for Usher today just to kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Good was in the space of where my big bro Keith Eugene Thomas, that's not his real middle name, but that's what I call him.
I know Keith.
So Keith Thomas, we had developed a relationship. So when it comes to like our process, he will, because he's best friends with Usher, you know what I'm saying? And with Usher's schedule, I don't have too many chances to like sit down and talk to him. So Keith is usually my liaison, of Usher and what he may be feeling or what he can relate to. So Keith came to me, he's like, yo, bro, I wanna do a song that is not toxic but still like an amicable breakup. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I feel like that's relatable. I feel like that's like a tangible thing. You know what I'm saying? So once he told me that, like, I went to the studio. I'm gonna tell you, everybody that was there, my older brother Caleb was there with me, my homie Kings, my homegirl Jalen, you know what I'm saying? And we all like put our minds together. Kings had been through a situation to where I always make a joke with Kings, like he's like 20, he's like 34, his son is like 27. Oh, wow. So, no, I'm just joking. That's not real. Kings, I'm sorry. I was like, wait, for real? Yeah. He had his baby when he was 5. Right. No, but Kings is my brother. I love Kings. So Kings had been through a situation to where him and his child's mom have a very positive and healthy relationship. And so, he was just like talking us through like how he felt, you know what I'm saying, and just kind of like setting the scene, and then of course I got information and details as far as like, Keith would like call and just give me information. So Mel and Moose sent the beat. My guys, we had been working together, like they were like from my first like shots at Usher was with them, you know what I'm saying, like trying to get that, try to nail that, but they had sent this beat over that was incredible. I went in the booth, kind of like ran through the hook, and I'm not gonna tell you what we. Man, I should tell you. Okay, I should tell you. Okay, all right.
Listen, you can tell me if you want me to cut it out later.
No, it's cool. It's cool. No, it's cool. It's cool. Usher has a song obviously called Lovers and Friends. Right. So the way that the tagline that I put at the hook was, we ain't lovers, but we still friends, right? So
that could have been a vibe
I
too.
thought it was good. I thought it was good. I thought it was good. Yeah. But my homegirl, Jalen, my mentee, she was like, that's corny. And I was like, what? She was like, I don't want to sing that. And I was like, are you sure? She was like, yeah, I don't. This is before I like, and this is something we'll cover in the masterclass today, like how to deliver your message when you're co-writing and you're collabing. Right. But she was super raw. She was like, yeah, I don't want to sing that. Yeah. I don't want to sing that.
But you need that sometimes.
First of all, I'm going to tell you where it went. Like, so me and my brother Caleb, my brother Caleb calls her the one woman demographic. What's that? What's like the like when you have like a focus group, the one woman focus group. That's what we call her. So she was like, I don't want to sing that. Yeah. That doesn't ring off to me well. Yeah. And I was like, well, what you want me to say? Mm-hmm. We ain't good, but we still good. You want to sing it like that? She was like, I'll take that over Lovers and Friends. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, we ain't good, but we still good. I was like, oh, shit.
That's a vibe.
Yeah. I was like, damn, she's
right.
right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, so after that work, we kind of just constructed the whole song from top to bottom, first verse, second verse, bridge, everything. We like wrote the whole thing. And so with the Keith process, right? Mm-hmm. He hears something, he'll be like, yeah, that's hard. Let's rewrite it. So
wait.
I was like, that's just how he works. Yeah. So usually in that process is usually like the refining moment where we like doing the tweaking and stuff like that, which is a writing style that I've like grown to love in this time. Because I've seen the greatest writers of all time do it. JD rewrites songs if he has to. Babyface will sit down and change keys and rewrite and just kind of fine tooth comb through the stuff. So that's not a luxury that most writers in our positions have because everything is so quick and we have to like turn out at a high rate. But with this in particular song or with Keith's process, which is what makes our connection so thorough, was we hold no bars when it comes to every line and making it count. So once we got it to a point to where we could even present it to Keith, Keith was like, all right, let's get to the nitty gritty. So, I rewrote it a couple times with him. We locked in, and he took it to Usher. And that story is a whole nother, the process, because Usher is such a legend and he has so many hit records, there's like no taking off, and because I like to look at my big brothers and those who mentor me as like schools. So because I came through the school of JD with Usher, like that's JD and YKIGS were the first people that of course Keith, JD and YKIGS were the first people to like get Usher to cut a record that I collaborated on. So I consider myself through that school. You know what I'm saying? They are. Put my hand on the door, turned it right, stepped with my left foot out, looked to my right, and she said, "What you doing here?" I was like, "No, Ish, no." You know what I'm saying? Like they very detailed. They don't play. You know what I'm saying? They don't take lyrics off. Yeah. They are very like they sharpshooters, man.
Yeah, very strategic.
Very strategic. Very like just excellent. They're incredible. I can sit there and watch that process all day. So, once it gets to Usher, that's a whole new fine tuning that we have to get through and go through. You know what I'm saying? And so,
now, were you able to be in the studio when he was cutting the record?
The first time we played it for Usher, he's like, they were like, it was a few of us, kind of like coming to the drawing board and trying to figure it out, and they was like, this ain't ready yet. It was like, and it was June 2nd. I remember because my son was born June 1st, and I had convinced my family to let me leave so I could go produce these vocals.
Man, listen, I know that life. I've been like, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I was like, hey, man, hey, little baby, I got to go produce. Daddy got to go to this Usher session real quick. You know what I'm saying? So,
but that's also an opportunity that doesn't come around
man, you can't.
often, you gotta take it.
Yeah, I mean, you
gotta
to
be understanding.
You got
and
to. And you know,
your partner probably understands.
Yeah,
that
my
too,
family is they're my rock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're very supportive. They've always been supportive. You know, the motivation behind me doing the stuff that I do, at the rate that I do it, they let me really like chase it down. You know what I'm saying? And it's been ups and downs with that. You know, from when I moved to Atlanta, like, you know, they kept me together. You know what I'm saying? So I love my family. So with that being said, but nah, the first time we were supposed to cut it, they didn't cut it. You know what I'm saying? He had to live with it. I think we went again to rewrite it some more just to kind of iron out. And then I think Keith cornered Usher like in Vegas or LA, and you know what I'm saying? They figured it out. And you know, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why the process is so hard with Usher. Usher can sing ABC and it sound like a hit record.
Actually, he did though.
Yeah, he did on Sesame Street. Yeah, right. My daughter loves that. You know what I'm saying? My niece and nephew, they can't get like, Daddy, is that your friend? I was like, yes. He sounds. Can you have him sing the ABC song?
You're a cool dad.
I was like,
for sure.
for sure. So he sings everything well. So differentiating between a good song, a really good song, and a hit record is tough because everything sounds incredible after he finishes it. So that process is very like tough, you know what I'm saying? So after we got through the level 78, you know what I'm saying, with the record, then they had the brilliant idea of getting Summer and 21 on it, and that just, you know, that's elevated. You know what I'm saying? Those are guys, those are young legends in their own making. So, you know, I really appreciate everybody that contributed. And Ghost, my homie Ghost, did post production on it. You know what I'm saying? Like really brought it home. So, you know, it was a joint effort, team effort for sure.
So how does it feel now going through all the, you know, 11 different, you know, changes and rewriting and this and that, but to now see where it's at now, you know, topping charts and being so popular, because it is a very relatable song, and the way it was written, I feel like so many people understand it. Like they've been through it or they want to, you know, be in that situation. Maybe they're not. So how does it feel to see its success right now?
Well, I'm just appreciative. I appreciate the culture connecting. I'm very like, it's important to me that the culture connects with records that we make, that I make personally. So I love that. And, you know, this record has really shined a light as far as like how much healing, you know, our community needs when it comes to, you know, things of that nature, because there's such this narrative of, you know, abandonment and, you know, love being one way and not being flexible, you know what I'm saying? And so to have people really relate to that is, it's important to me, you know, and it shines a light to me where I kind of see myself not only as a writer, but as an artist as well. You know what I'm saying? Like just making sure that we speak to spaces that are ignored, you know what I'm saying? And speak to relationships that need to be addressed. And that's a relationship, to have a healthy relationship with an ex, you know, not to where it's like spinning the block all the time, because that's, you know, I always tell people, that's another soul. And that got in the way when it came to good, you know, like, you know, I think the second verse was like, you know, he may have felt Usher may have felt like, yo, this is too close to like rekindling something, you know what I'm saying? So we need to make it ironclad that this is a healthy relationship, but not necessarily still romantic, you know what I'm saying? But there's love there. And, you know, like you said, there are people who relate to that. So it's important to us. It's important to me to, like, say to hit that culture vein, for sure.
So do you have a process for your writing?
Man, it depends on the day. If I'm in the left hand on the door, turn it right space, I kind of write. With JD, rarely do I just go in the booth and just kind of go. I kind of like sit down, I write, we always look at each other like, what you got? And I'll be like, well, what you got? You know what I'm saying? And then we kind of like, that's how we collab. But when it comes to like, it just depends. Like if I'm with Tricky, you know, Tricky just loud. Tricky will leave the room and just be like, all right, good luck. I'll be like, damn, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I was just talking to Lainey Stewart about when I go over there. They have hit records playing. It's such a Jedi mind trick. They have hit records playing when you walk in. So you always have to measure yourself as soon as you step foot in sessions. You have to measure yourself against the hit records that are playing in the ceiling.
Right.
You know, and so for me, I'm very competitive. I'm very hungry. So I'm like, dang, I gotta try to write a better record than so and so, and I'll be like, oh, this is tough. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, but it's challenging, man, and I love it. I always feel like I'm capable. I definitely look up to the writers that have paved the way for me and the artists that have paved the way for me. But I definitely feel like I'm cut from that cloth. Yeah,
which is what I wanted to ask you though. So in the beginning we talked about how you were brought up in the church and you have that foundation, and it's unfortunately a dying breed right now. But how do you feel now writing songs in this current state of R&B versus the legends that you look up to and how R&B was with them? Do you feel like it's a different vibe, or do you feel like because you have that foundation still that you're still able to pull from that?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have friends, like I was saying, like Jalen, she's, you know what I'm saying, she would put me on. My homie Teddy Harris, who is like one of my favorite A&Rs in the game. I have people that I consult and literally debate with when it comes to records. When it comes to projects, and they bring me all the information, because for me, I don't necessarily have time to like sit down and listen to the younger, this new fresh generation of R&B like I would like to. So I damn near schedule time to be like, yo, let's talk about this album. Let's talk about this Brent Faiyaz album. Why is it connecting? Why do people love it? You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about this album and this album, et cetera. So, they keep me fresh, you know what I'm saying? And I talk to, usually when I work with young R&B artists, I'm like, J. Cole has this idea called the middle child, where it's like, I'm big bro and little bro at the same time. Yeah, with JD,
mentioned that in the track.
Right. Yeah. So with JD and Tricky, I'm little bro, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, we have a conversation, we have a dialect, you know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, them niggas fresher than me, you know what I'm saying? Like super fresh.
Well, they've been in the game a long time.
They got long money too.
But
you know what
again, that's still, they've been in the game a long time.
So they just set it up. So but my conversation with them, I can reference these records and this and that, as opposed to like when I'm big bro, and young artists come up to me like Layla, she signed to CMG and Interscope. Like, we had those conversations. She's so young, she's still trying to find her way as far as like who she is, not only as an artist, but as a person. And so I can give that guidance and like say, okay, this is what you're going through. Like, oh, you fell in, this is real love for the first time. You know what I'm saying? So I like connecting the dots like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a little further than where you are, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to like my love life and stuff like that. So it's helpful to, but I like to mix it up, you know what I'm saying. I would like to work with younger artists, seasoned artists, whoever, you know what I'm saying, whoever I can get my hands on.
Yeah, who would you, like, if you could pinpoint one artist or producer or even a fellow songwriter, if you could collaborate, who would you collab with?
But don't do this to me, Whit.
I know. You don't got to, it doesn't have to be.
Don't do this to me, because I got like 6 answers.
Well, then give him 6. I'll take 6.
All right. So, like, James Fauntleroy is like one of my favorite writers of all time. He's like super dope. I have no connection with him. So, James, if you see this, bro, I would love to work with you. You know what I'm saying?
I think we're in connection with him.
Well, let's make it happen. You know what I'm
let's see what we can do.
I bribe. I bribe my people.
I do too. I told you.
We're going to make that work. So, James Fauntleroy. Who else? Esther Dean. I love her. You know what I'm saying? Man, like, those two are like at the top of my like list as far as like writers. I've always loved them, and I always look at them as like, yo, they're like a class. I kind of look like when records came out, like, yo, okay, this is your class. So they're a few classes ahead of me. You know what I'm saying? So I always wanted to work with those two in particular. When it comes to like producers or artists, I mean.
You're working with one of the greatest right now.
Yeah.
Literally, that's always one of the answers.
Right.
So, like, I'm like, you ain't doing it.
I'm blessed.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, who doesn't have Beyonce on their list as far as like, artists that you want to work with? But, I am a Babyface fanatic, and I've worked with him before, so that's a blessing. But I say that to say this: Babyface did both. He worked with seasoned artists. that were like at the top of their game, and then he broke artists too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like one of the most impressive things about Babyface is like most of the artists he works with or he's worked with, they have to feature a song that he's done on their tour for the rest of their career.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when you think about like how impactful he is to music, you know, specifically the R&B culture and just the world as a writer, you know what I'm saying? Like that's where I want to be. So I will work with Joe Blow, Beyonce, Usher, you know, Jane Doe, whoever I can get my hands on.
Producing good music.
As long as we make great music, you know what I'm saying? So I aspire to be like that, you know, because, you know, Usher is great. He's incredible. One of the greatest of all time. I want to make the next guy that you know can stand in his, you know what I'm saying? Not stand in his space, but that can, you know, follow in his footsteps. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So
okay, that's awesome. Honestly, it's been great. It's been a great conversation.
I appreciate it, man.
We see so much, like so many good things coming for you. You know that it's only going to go up from here.
Well, thank you.
It's incredible. It's been such a pleasure. I'm gonna hold you to that. What I said earlier.
Those with the bribe?
Yeah,
oh,
we're gonna hold you to that. But that's
put me on the legend.
y'all can't hear that.
Put me on the legend. I'm with
But
it.
no, honestly, thank you so much for sitting down with us today, and just we really appreciate it. And
man,
like I
thank
said,
you.
We're looking forward to hearing everything that you have coming.
No, I appreciate it. Thank
for
you so much, man.
Yes, no problem.